driving his brand new 1976 Dodge Colt, a little 4 on the floor. Ooh, it was special to drive. He was teaching me how to drive it. That night, I drove down to my high school feeling so proud to my badminton practice and drove back without any incidents. Oh, okay, I might have stalled it once, maybe twice. Now came my biggest hurdle. Put that car inside the garage. That was still under construction. I carefully maneuvered it onto the 2x6s that were parked on top of the soft sand, and I stopped just shy of the bricks that prevented the car from rolling even further into this huge, gaping hole that housed my dad's ladders, his sawhorses, and my 10-speed bike. I got out of the car, put the garage door down. What? The car stuck out 10 inches. Oh, I had to get back in. I pondered. On one hand, my dad trusted me. He would believe that I could do this. The other side of me said I hadn't quite mastered that whole let the clutch out, push on the accelerator thing. It just wasn't quite happening. My inner voice was saying, "No, don't do this." Has your inner voice ever talked to you that way and you defied it anyway? I did. Little Miss Stubborn, I got back into that car and I started the engine and I revved it up and I revved it up and I revved it up, and when that engine was screaming, I popped the clutch and I slammed that accelerator in. We flew. It was a short flight. I climbed down out of the car and surveyed the scene. The car was suspended in midair. The lights were still on. The wheels were still turning. I burst into tears. And that's my story. Well, Karen, I guess we'll have to get it towed out. I reached into my pocket and handed over my last $10. My dad, my driving instructor, ooh, he'd seen me through so many episodes learning to drive. If it was sliding into the trees on the side of that driveway, again, or backing into another ditch, we had this routine. He would sit me down, out of earshot of my mother, of course, and he'd interrogate me. Karen, were you injured in this accident? No, Dad. Was anyone else injured in this accident? No, Dad. Was there any damage to the car? No, Dad. Phew. We won't tell your mother. My dad is the ultimate example of unconditional love. Love that knows no boundaries. Love that never changes despite the triumphs, trials, tears. June Masters, author of Diary of a Loving Heart, once wrote, "Love is like a violin. The music may stop and end, the strings remain forever." My father is like the strings on a violin. When I bought my very first car, a Mercury Lynx, and the snow tires for it, he was there. When I moved in and out of my Northern Ontario apartment, the one with the fireplace and the shag rug, he was there. And when I took my marriage vows and later broke my marriage vows. He was there. Unconditional love. My father was there that night when I crash-landed that car in the garage. Oh, it has a happy ending. The tow truck came and pulled the car out. Miraculously, there was no damage to the car. Now the sawhorses and the ladders, my 10-speed bike. Oh, that's another story. The next day he came home from school and said, the guys in the staff room, oh, they howled. They loved your story. He reached into his wallet, handed back my $10. My dad, my driving instructor, taught me so much more than driving a 1976 Dodge Colt. He taught me about unconditional love. You, fellow Toastmasters and friends, whose lives have touched yours, whose lives will you touch?
Try again? Very good. Thank you very much, Karen, for that touching and profound speech. This time, I'm going to ask Randy to speak first. Randy, go ahead.
Yo, dog. James. Yo, dog. James. Someone's in it to win! Outstanding, love the voice. No singing, but that's okay. It felt like a song to me. I could have produced that. We would have made millions. You talked to me afterwards, you and I. Love the stories. Never drove that kind of car, so. Great passion. You lived the story, you did your thing, and I have to say, dog, just one or two places you were pitching.
Paula, do you have any feedback for our speaker?
G. It's still red.
Just wait for it.
You gotta turn yourself. It's on.
Now we're talking. Karen. Oh, I love what you did with your voice. The car. The rolling things. What accent is that? Oshawa Valley? Where's Ottawa? I loved how you got into your inner voice. That was outstanding. Imagine talking to yourself. Do you do that, Simon? All the time. And when you were saying you revved it up, you really revved it up. I thought about Randy. And how he's always revving everybody up. But I'm wondering, if I had the same driving instructor that you had, because there were a few dings and a few dents and a few rollovers. But can I hook you up with Peter over there? Then it would be what the world needs now is love, sweet love. That's the only thing that you're just too little.
Simon, I can hardly believe this. I'm letting you have the last word.
As you should. I can't believe I have to follow that. I mean, Paula, you know, your career is about 20 years old, and I think you should leave it there.
Besides yours.
You're only on this show because I invited you.
No.
Anyway, I really enjoyed your speech. I love the accent. Is it natural? Are you born with it? I was offline at the school on the way I'm thinking. That was lovely. And you know what you said at the very end that you should make an impact on someone? I really feel like I'm making an impact with everyone here. I really do. Now, I don't want you to have an impact on me, but I feel like I really am doing something for you, all right? Thank you. Yes. When I do clap, yeah, I'm not finished. I want to get started. Crashing cars, yes, I've done that. Usually it's associated with drinking. So, you know, we had the Maserati, we had the Ferrari, a couple of Benzes. But I enjoyed them. Did you enjoy yours? Oh, perfect. I was lovely. I'd love to hear it again. Would you? Oh, okay. Well, back to you. And James, I'd like to say that you're doing a good job. It's kind of like porridge. Isn't it? No, it's just right. It's just right. It's perfect. You're doing a lovely job. Lovely.